Hello, friends, and happy Earth Day. Today I have a really awesome book for us to read. It's called The Lorax by Dr. Seuss. Let's get started. The Lorax by Dr. Seuss. At the far end of town, where the crinkle grass grows and the wind smells slow and sour when it blows, and no birds ever sing except old crows, is the street of the lifted Lorax. And deep in the crinkle grass, some people say, if you look deep enough, you can still see today where the Lorax once stood, just as long as it could, before somebody lifted the Lorax away. What was the Lorax? And why was it there? And why was it lifted and taken somewhere? From the far end of town where the crinkle grass grows and the old Onceler still lives here, ask him. He knows. Should we ask? You won't see the Onceler, don't knock at his door. He stays in his lurkin on top of his store. He lurks in his lurkin, cold under the roof, where he makes his own clothes out of muffled moof. And on special dank midnights in August, he peeks out of his shutters, and sometimes he speaks and tells the Laura of how the Lorax was lifted away. He'll tell you, perhaps, if you're willing to pay. On the end of the rope, he lets down a tin pail, and you have to toss in 15 cents and a nail, and the shell of a great-great-great-grandfather's snail. Then he pulls up the pail, makes the most careful count to see if you've paid him the proper amount. Then he hides what you've paid him away in his snuv, his secret strange hole, in his grandiose glove. Then he grunts, I will call you by the whisper of my phone, for the secrets I tell you are for your ears alone. Sloop! Down sloops the whisper-mophone to your ear, and the old Onceler whispers are not very clear, since they have to come down through a snurgly hose, and he sounds as if he's smallish bees up his nose. Now I'll tell you, he says, with his teeth sounding gray, how the Lorax got lifted and taken away. It all started way back, such a long time back. Way back in the days where the grass was still green and the pond was still wet and the clouds were still clean and the sound and the song of the Swanee Swans rang out in space. One morning I came to this glorious place and I first saw the trees, the truffula trees, the bright colored tufts on the truffula trees, mile after mile in the fresh morning breeze. Look there. And under the trees, I saw the brown barbaloots frisking about in their barbaloot suits as they played in the shade and ate truffle fruits. From the repless pond came a comfortable sound of the humming fish humming while splashing around. This looks like a very magical place. But those trees, those truffula trees, all my life I've been searching for trees such as these. The touch of their tufts was much softer than silk, and they had the sweet smell of fresh butterfly milk. I felt a great leaping of joy in my heart. I knew just what I had to do. I unloaded my cart. And in no time at all, I had built a small shop. Then I chopped down the truffula trees with one chop. And with great skillful skills and with great speedy speed, I took the soft tuff and I knitted a thneed. The instant I'd finished, I heard a gazump. I looked and saw something pop out of the stump. Do you see something coming out of the stump? Of the tree I had chopped down, it was sort of a man. Describe him? That's hard. I don't know if I can. He was shortish and oldish and brownish and mossy, and he spoke with a voice that was sharpish and bossy. Mister, he said with a sawdusty sneeze, I am the Lorax. I speak for the trees. I speak for the trees, for the trees have no tongues. And I'm asking you, sir, at the top of my lungs. He was very upset and shouted and puffed. What is that thing you've made out of my truffle truff? Look, Lorax, I said, there's no cause for alarm. I chopped just one tree. I'm doing no harm. I'm being quite useful. This thing is a need. A need is to find something that all people need. It's a shirt, it's a sock, it's a glove, it's a hat. But it has other uses. Yes, far beyond that. You can use it for carpets, for pillows, for sheets, or curtains or covers of bicycle seats. The Lorax said, Sir, you are crazy with greed. There is no one on earth that would buy a fool's need. But the very next minute, I proved he was wrong. For just at that minute, a chap came along, and he thought that the need I had knitted was great, and he happily bought it for $3.98. I laughed at the Lorax, you poor stupid guy. You never can tell what some people will buy. I repeat, cried the Lorax, I speak for the trees. Who does he speak for, friends? The trees. I'm busy, I told him. Shut up, if you please. Ooh, that wasn't very nice. I rushed across the room in no time at all. I built a radio phone and I put in a quick call. I called my brothers and uncles and aunts. I called and said, listen here, here's a wonderful chance for the whole Onceler family to get mighty rich. Get over here fast, take the road to North Nitch, turn left at We Walk and sharp right at South Sitch. And in no time at all, in the factory I'd built, the whole Onceler family was working full tilt. We were all knitting needs just as busy as bees, and the sound of chopping of truffle trees. Oh boy, they're cutting more trees down, huh? It wasn't just one. Then, oh baby, baby, oh, how my business did grow. Now chopping one tree at a time was too slow. So I quickly invented my super axe hacker, which whacked off 4 truffle trees in one smacker. We were making needs 4 times fast as before, and that Lorax, he didn't show up anymore. But the next week he knocked on my new office door. He snapped, I'm the Lorax who speaks for the trees, which you seem to be chopping as fast as you please. But I'm also in charge of the brown barbaloots who played in the shade in their barbaloot suits and happily lived eating truffle fruits. Now, thanks to you and your hacking my trees to the ground, there's not enough truffle fruit to go around. And my poor barbaloots are all getting the crummies because they have gas and no food in their tummies. Oh my goodness, they don't look too good, huh? Well, you take away the trees, you take away the trees, you take away the fruit, you take away the fruit, you take away their food, you take away their food, and now they're hungry. Oh no, not the barbaloots. They loved living here, but I can't let them stay. They'll have to find food, and I hope that they may. Good luck, boys, he cried, and he sent them away. I, the Onceler, felt sad as I watched them all go. But business is business, and business must grow, regardless of crummies and tummies, you know? Oops. I meant no harm. I mostly did not, but I had to grow bigger and bigger I got. I biggered my factory. I biggered my roads. I biggered my wagons. I biggered the loads of the needs I shipped out. I was shipping them forth to south, to east, to the west, to the north. I went right on biggering, selling more needs, and I biggered my money, which everyone needs. Then again, he came back. I was fixing some pipes when that old nuisance Lorax came back with more gripes. I am the Lorax. He coughed and whiffed. Achoo! He sneezed and snuffled. He snargled and sniffed. Onceler, he cried with a crawfish coke. Onceler, you're making such smogulous smoke. My poor swanny swans, why they can't sing a note. No one can sing who has smog in their throat. You guys see the smog the factory is building? The air isn't very clean anymore. And so, said the Lorax, please pardon my cough. They cannot live here, so I'm sending them off. Where will they go? Don't hopefully know. They may have to fly for a month or a year to escape from the smog you've smogged up around here. What's more, snapped the Lorax, his dagger was up, let me say a few words about the gluppity-glup. Your machinery chugs on day and night without a stop, making gluppery glup, also slippery schlup. And what do you do with this leftover goo? I'll show you, you dirty old Onceler man, you. You're glumping the ponds where the hummy fish hummed. No more can they hum, for their gills are all gummed. So I'm sending their off, oh, their futures are dreary. They'll walk on their fins and get woefully weary in search of some water that isn't so smeary. That water doesn't look very good, does it? And then I got mad. I got terribly mad. I yelled at the Lorax. Now listen here, Dad. All you do is yip yap and say bad, 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 bad. Well, I have my rights, sir, and I'm telling you, I intend on just doing what I do. And for your information, you Lorax, I'm figuring on biggering and biggering and biggering and biggering, turning more truffula trees into needs, which everyone needs. And at that very moment, we heard a loud whack. From outside the fields came a snickering smack of an axe on a tree. Then we heard a tree fall, and the very last truffula tree of them all. No more trees, no more needs, no more needs, no more work to be done. So in no time, my uncles and aunts and everyone all waved me goodbye. They jumped in my cars and drove away under the smoke-smothering stars. Now, all that was left beneath the bad-smelling sky was my big empty factory, the Lorax, and I. The Lorax said nothing, just gave me a glance, just gave me a very sad and backwards glance. He lifted himself by the seat of his pants, and I'll never forget the grim look on his face when he hoisted himself and took leave of this place through the hole in the smog without leaving a trace. And all the Lorax left here in this mess was a small pile of rocks with one word, unless. Can you say unless? Unless. Whatever that meant, well, I just couldn't guess. But that was long, long ago. But each day since that day, I've sat here and worried away. Through the years while my buildings have fallen apart, I've worried about it with all of my heart. But now, says the Onceler, now that you're here, the word of the Lorax seems perfectly clear, unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot. Nothing's going to get better. It's not. So catch, calls the Onceler. Here's something. He lets something fall. It's a truffula seed. It's the last one of all. You're in charge of the last of the truffula seeds, and the truffula trees are what everyone needs. Plant a new truffula, treat it with care, give it clean water and feed it fresh air. Grow a forest, protect them from axes that hack. Then the Lorax and all of his friends may come back. So on this Earth Day, we are celebrating the Earth. We want to celebrate by doing things that are good for the Earth so our planet can stay healthy. We don't want our water to get full of gluppity glup or our air and sky to get full of smog. We don't want to lose all of our lovely trees. What can you do today to help save and protect the Earth? Reuse, reduce, recycle, friends. Have a great day. Bye.